you know that one world record, which is unrealistic to break, changed the history of an entire sport? And what about crazy basketball records that are hard to believe? Or skydiving without a parachute from almost 8 kilometers above the ground? It's definitely worth seeing. This is Infinity, and in this episode, I'll tell you about these and other incredible records that can't be broken. Javelin throw is quite an interesting and spectacular discipline. It was especially spectacular when Uwe Hahn, a German athlete who set a record that's unlikely to be broken, performed in it. On July 20th, 1984, Uwe Hahn made history. He threw a javelin with such force that it almost flew off the field. It landed on the opposite side of the stadium, almost hitting people. When the measurements were taken, the results stunned everyone. 104 meters, 80 centimeters. This record not only made history, but completely changed the sport. Initially, the plan was to completely ban javelin throw at stadiums, but eventually they decided to just change the design of the javelin. The javelin's center of gravity was shifted forward, resulting in an earlier lowering of the javelin's nose. This made the discipline safer, but at the same time reduced the throwing range by about 10%. The record for throwing the new javelin was set by Jan Zelensi. In 1996, he threw 98 meters and 48 centimeters. Considering that even that record can't be broken for 26 years, what about Uwe's record? To me, it's unreal to break it. Unusual stair climbing. How can you climb stairs? The usual way? By stepping over one or even several stairs? You can even climb stairs on your hands. But what about climbing stairs on your head? It seems like complete nonsense, but that's exactly what the Chinese extreme climber Li Longlong does. He holds the extremely unusual record for jumping up steps on his head. Li stands in a stance, releases his hands, and starts literally jumping on his head up the stairs. He doesn't help himself. He moves exactly on his head, jumping up and down before each ascent. He became the record holder in 2012 by climbing 34 stairs. And in 2015, he broke his own record by climbing 36 stairs. In 2020, Longlong tried to renew the record by climbing 37 steps, but he didn't succeed. It seems that only this Chinese man is able to remain a record holder, at least for now. Basketball. The free throw in basketball is a common occurrence. If you've watched basketball games, you've seen that basketball players almost always hit the basket for a free throw, because for a professional athlete, it's no problem to hit the ball in the basket from that distance. Even making a few accurate throws in a row is no problem for basketball players. But what about dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of free throws in a row? I think not even the top players like LeBron James, Kevin Durant, or Steph Curry can do that. But Ted Martin can. In 1975, he hit the basket 739 times. And in 1996, he broke his own record with 5,221 consecutive free throws. That's just unbelievable. Who is this Ted Martin anyway? Maybe a basketball legend that few people know about? Actually, no. What's amazing about this whole story is that Ted hardly has anything to do with basketball. He just has good accuracy and precision. Let's take a look at another amazing basketball record. Over 5,000 free throws is cool, but what about hitting the basket from over 200 meters away? Seems unrealistic, but Derek Heron disagrees. In 1998, he traveled to the Kingdom of Lesotho in South Africa and made the most accurate basketball throw at 201 meters, 42 centimeters near the Melet Sunyai Falls. Although it took Derek a lot of time and a lot of balls to set this record, it doesn't negate the coolness of the record. Do you think anyone can break these incredible basketball records, or is it impossible? Share your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned to see no less cool and crazy records that will definitely impress you. Tattoos. Some of you probably have tattoos. Some may have one barely visible tattoo on their body, while others, for example, may have their arms completely tattooed. In any case, no matter how many tattoos you have, you can't break the record of Gregory Paul McLaren, also known as Lucky Diamond Rich. This 51-year-old resident of New Zealand is the most tattooed man on the planet. 100% of Lucky's body is covered in tattoos. You won't find a single spot on his body that isn't tattooed. Lucky even has tattoos on his eyelids, between his fingers, and in his mouth. The New Zealand resident has so many tattoos and such a strong desire for more that he has to outdo the old tattoos with more color and lighter tattoos and add different colors. Lucky has stretched earlobes and has veneers on his teeth. How long do you think a racer can drift? A few minutes in a row? Or maybe a whole hour without stopping? Take it up a notch. In this regard, the crazy record belongs to car instructor Johann Schwartz. A few years ago, he set a world record for non-stop drifting. Driving his BMW M5, Johann drifted for 8 hours without stopping. Very difficult to set such a record, not only because the driver has to be constantly focused, but the car also needs to be fueled. But how do you do it while you're driving? It was very easy. The other car, with an extra tank in the trunk, started drifting in parallel with Schwartz's car. The stuntman, sticking out the window of the second car, connected a hose to Schwartz's car and started pumping gasoline. With 5 refills, Johann Schwartz drove about 375 kilometers drifting. That's 210 kilometers more than the previous record in this discipline. Do you think such a record can be broken at all? How do you imagine priests? For many of you, a priest is a spiritual person, far cry from sports and demonstrations of strength, right? What about such a priest? It's Kevin Fast, and in his spare time away from church service, he likes to drag weights. The pastor's greatest accomplishment remains towing a giant airplane. In 2009, he was able to move an airplane that weighed 189 tons and pull it 9 meters forward. To this day, no one has been able to break this record. Some people tow airplanes, while others jump out of them and fly straight to the ground. One such free-fall lover is stuntman Luke Akins. But what does that have to do with the record? The fact that Luke jumps without a parachute. It begs the logical question. How does he manage to survive the fall? It's simple. Luke falls on a special net stretched out at a height of the 20th floor of a skyscraper. On July 20th, 2016, he performed just such a stunt. He jumped out of a plane at 7,600 meters and flew toward the ground. Luke flew for about 2.5 minutes before successfully landing on the net. It took the daredevil 2 years to prepare for this incredible stunt and the record, but the record itself has still not been broken. Keep-ups. Can you do keep-ups? How long can you keep the ball up? If you've played soccer, you can probably last at least half a minute. But what if you add walking and harsh weather conditions to your keep-ups? Then it becomes very difficult to do keep-ups. Nevertheless, John Farnworth can handle this challenge. In 2019, this soccer freestyler set an incredible record. To do so, he took a ball and equipment with him and went to the Sahara Desert. John walked through the desert without stopping, keeping the ball up. In 1 hour, he managed to cover 5.86 kilometers doing keep-ups. But John didn't stop there, and over the next 7 days, he crossed 100 kilometers of the desert, still doing keep-ups. Neither the heat, nor the sandstorms, nor the uncomfortable terrain could stop him. He's a real record holder. The probability of a person being struck by lightning is very small. It's much less likely that lightning will strike a person more than once. This is a truly unique case. In fact, Roy Sullivan, known as the human lightning rod, went down in history with such a record. From 1942 to 1977, he was struck by lightning 7 times, and he managed to stay alive. In 1942, only Roy's fingernail was struck by lightning. In 1969, he lost consciousness after a discharge. In 1970, lightning paralyzed his arm, and in 1972, another discharge set his hair on fire. The 5th, 6th, and 7th discharges caused Roy various injuries, but he survived each time. Because of this, he was listed in the Guinness Book of World Records. I don't think anyone would want to break Roy's record, and no one would be able to do it. That's all, guys. Do you have your own records? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you later.